Hi guys, how you doing? Thanks for checking out my video today. So I'm going to be talking about how to structure a training program, okay? This is going to be for how to build lean mass and strength, because I believe that's probably what 99% of people are going to want to see. There are obviously different programs, sport specific, that type of thing, but this is going to be specifically for how to build lean mass and strength, okay? So before we get started, the first thing that you need to think about is your own individual needs and how much time you have to dedicate to training, okay? There are a million different training programs out there. It's very easy to just sort of pick a program from Jimmy Smith online, and he says training 5-6 days a week is the best way to do it, and this is what's going to give you results. But that is not the case. You've got to think about what's best for you and how much time you have to dedicate to your training, okay? So it's got to be, as I've always preached with everything, including nutrition and training, it's got to be something that to achieve results, you've got to be able to sustain it over time. And if you can't sustain it over time, and if it is a hassle, then you're not going to be able to sustain it over time. So eventually you're just going to give up. So you've got to find an approach that's going to be easy for you to stay consistent over time, and this is what's going to give you the best results. Okay guys, so I'm not going to talk today too much about sets and reps within the exercises on the program, because I've already made a video called Muscle Building Made Simple, which is going to give you a much more comprehensive sort of idea of how to incorporate this into your training. So if you haven't already seen that video, I'll link it in the description down below. So I'm going to talk about exercise selection in a little bit, but what I want to do first is explain how to structure a program based on how much time you have to dedicate to the gym. So as mentioned before, that's the first thing you need to work out. You need to work out how many days per week you can train, okay? Now I'm going to start with just one. Some people just have one day that they can get in and they can train, okay? That's fine, okay? It can work. And the reason being is obviously you're going to have lots and lots of recovery time between sessions. So doing one session a week is definitely better than doing absolutely nothing. So if you're going to do just one session to start with, especially if you're a beginner, then you can definitely make progress on one session. You want to be focusing on a full body program. So making sure that you hit every single muscle in your body within that program, within that day. Okay, it's going to be really important. So as mentioned, I'm going to discuss the exercise selection for each program later on. But if you're just able to train one day a week, then full body program is exactly how you want to be training. If you can only dedicate 2 days to the gym, then again, absolutely fine. I would highly recommend, again, doing a full body program. You're going to be hitting every single muscle in your body twice per week. And you want to be splitting this up over, I would say at least 48 hours, if not 72 hours in between sessions. The reason this works is because you're going to have so much recovery time in between each of the sessions. And the key to getting results, if you're just training full body once per week or twice per week, is to ensure that the training intensity is there. You want to be making sure you do train hard. And progressive overload, again, is going to be key regardless of what program you're on, but especially if you're just doing once or twice per week. Full body, working on training progressive overload over time, increasing the volume over time and increasing the intensity over time is going to give you results. It's going to work because you're going, like I said, you're going to get lots of recovery time in between. So training 2 days a week can absolutely work, and full body again for me is going to be the best way to go. So if you're able to train 3 days per week, then again, there's lots of different ways that you can break this down, but what I believe is best is, again, to follow full body 3 times per week. So you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, ensuring you've got enough of recovery time in between. That's a good way of splitting up your training program as well. So full body 3 times per week. But what I did for a long time, and where I made really good progress, was actually doing an upper-lower split. So let's just say I would have trained my upper body on a Monday. I would then just train my legs on Wednesday, and I would train my upper body again on Friday. I was hitting the smaller muscle groups twice per week. I was only hitting my legs once, but I was making sure that when I was in that session, as mentioned before, I was training my legs really hard. So I was maybe increasing the volume slightly. I was increasing the sets and reps, maybe more than I would have done if I was training my legs with my upper body at the same time. This way, it was taking me 5 or 6 days to recover my legs before I could train them again, before I was wanting to train them again. So this worked really well, and I made really good progress. So this is a good way of splitting up your training program. It's something that I did for years, and I saw most of my progress was done with a 3-day training split. I've been very busy with the kids and with work that I could only ever train for a long time 3 days per week. So I made really good progress. Upper body, train my entire upper body on a Monday, training my legs on a Wednesday, and again I would train my upper body again on a Friday. Lots of recovery, and like I said, to make great progress doing that. Now, if you have 4 days to dedicate to the gym, then my preferred methods for training here are either doing an upper-lower split or a push-pull. Okay, so what I would suggest with the upper lower is doing upper body. So you train all of your upper body on a Monday, you then train your lower body again on a Tuesday, and you rest Wednesday. You then go upper body again on Thursday, lower body on Friday, and then you rest over the weekend. So this gives you, again, lots of recovery. You're hitting each muscle in your body twice per week. And this is a fantastic way of training, and one, again, that I've followed for a long time, made good progress on. The other way would be push-pull. So you do all of your pushing movements on a Monday, all of your pulling movements on a Tuesday, rest Wednesday, and then repeat pushing on Thursday and pulling again on Friday. Again, it gives you that really good recovery time in between. I'm not a big fan of training more than sort of 3 days maximum in a row. This is just, these programs allow just for 2 days, which is good, and then it allows your body, not just the muscles to recover, but your central nervous system to recover as well. It's not just your muscles that take a beating when you go in the gym, your central nervous system does as well. So it's important that you do allow that to recover so that it doesn't affect other days that you're training. So this is what I would suggest, a really good way of breaking down if you have 4 days that you can dedicate to training. Now, if you have 5 or more days to dedicate to the gym, then you can do what's called a bro split or body part split. And essentially what this means is just dedicating one training day to a single muscle group. Okay, so maybe on Monday you'd hit your chest, on Tuesday you'd hit your back, on Wednesday you'd hit your shoulders, that type of thing. I don't like this approach at all. I think it can work quite well if you're really advanced and you are advanced with training, or if you're a professional bodybuilder, that type of thing. It can work quite well. But for the majority of people, 99.9% of people, for me, I just don't like this way of training at all, and I don't teach anybody to train like this. I would say for me, again, the volume is just way too high for each muscle group. There's no recovery in between sessions. It takes up a lot of your time, so unless you do have 5 or 6 days that you can dedicate to the gym, which is not many people, then it just doesn't work. So it's not a good way of training. And this is the type of training that will be pushed a lot online, and a lot of people will see that this is how they have to train. And if you just have 1 or 2 days that you can dedicate to the gym and stay consistent with it, then this type of training is just not going to work. You're going to go in and hit your chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, and then realize that you can't train on Wednesday and Thursday. So it just doesn't work out. So I don't advise that for most people. I'd say that the programs of how to structure programs I've mentioned before will be the best way for most people. I think I believe personally that you don't need to train any more than 4 days per week. I think 4 days would be, for me, maximum when it comes to doing resistance training. You just need to train 4 days because, like I said, recovery is going to be, when it comes to getting results, it's going to be absolutely essential. And you need to allow your body to have that recovery time. Your muscles need to recover before you can go down and break them down again. Go into the gym and break them down again. So recovery is going to be key. So training 4 days a week will just give you that recovery time that you do need. Okay guys, so when it comes to exercise selection, you want to be focusing your training around your big compound lifts. Exercises such as your squat, deadlift, bench press, overhead press, rows, pull-ups, that type of thing. These are your compound lifts. You want to have these in your program first. You then want to work down towards your isolation exercises at the end, which would be your bicep curls, tricep extensions, lateral raise, that type of thing. This is going to be the best way to structure your program. Now, what I like to do is also not only focus on bilateral training, which is essentially moving weight simultaneously with both limbs. I like to also do unilateral training as well, so one side at a time, whether it be legs or arms. This is just to ensure we maintain balanced strength. We're all very dominant on one side to the other, so if we're always training bilateral, then we are always going to have that dominant side. So by mixing it up and training unilateral as well, it just ensures that we can keep nice and balanced with strength. So what I'll personally do is maybe the first training session in the week I would do my bilateral movement, so it would be my barbell bench press, and then the second workout I would do my dumbbell bench press from a unilateral. So a good way of mixing it up. You could do this for all of your exercises, your overhead press, your bench press, all of your rows, training both ways. What I also like to do is, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is using a tracking app. Now, a lot of these apps now will allow you to not only structure your program, so you can structure it based on what I've talked about today, but also allows you to track your progress, so you can really ensure that you're, like I said before, working on progressive overload and increasing the intensity over time to see results. Guys, I didn't want to make this video too long and overcomplicated, so I haven't talked about sets, reps, and training intensity when it comes to getting results, which is obviously going to be absolutely key as well. So I have linked my Muscle Building Made Simple video down below that you can check out, which gives you a really good detailed explanation that you can incorporate into what we've talked about today and start seeing much better results. I just want to give you an idea of how you could structure a training program based on your needs. Okay, this is what's going to be absolutely key for getting results. It's got to be individual to you. You can't copy somebody else's program. You've got to do what works for you. So whether that is just training 1, 2, 3 days a week, it doesn't matter. It's got to be what works well for you and you can sustain and stay consistent with over time. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful, guys. If you did, please drop it a thumbs up. If you're unsure of anything I've said in this video, please feel free to ask down below in the comment section. I'll get right back to you. And as always, please show your support and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.